Well, hello and welcome to Starting Over Sunday School. Yay! And it is I, Allison Rozelle, also known as Coach Roz. I am the founder, creator, host of the Starting Over at 40 podcast, which you can find at coachroz.com. You can also find it on Spotify. You can find it on Google Play, Apple Podcast, also known as iTunes. But Apple does its own thing and has a special place for their podcast, which I love because that way I can keep my music and my podcast separate. And SoundCloud. You can also find me on SoundCloud, and apparently I'm on Podbean too. So I was like, yeah, I wasn't even trying. So I welcome you to today's Sunday school. This is a combo. So this will also be on the podcast. So I have 2 episodes left in my commitment for the podcast. So this is one, and then I'm going to record another, which will be my second, which will put a close to season 2. And let me just say, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate so much the people who've been rocking with me since season 1. And even if you were late to the party and came in on season 2, I still welcome you. I still thank you. I'm so appreciative of you all. The feedback that I've been getting has been amazing. I appreciate it. I love looking on my SoundCloud account because that's where it's based. And I love looking on there and looking at the different places where people are listening to the podcast. So I have followers who are in Belize. I have followers in Australia. I have followers in Egypt. I have followers in South Africa. And I think I even saw, I want to say France, that I saw that. And I also saw Canada. Oh, and Mexico. Yeah, we are listening and starting over at 40 in Mexico too. How about that? Hello, Tabitha. How are you? And anytime you come into the room, just come in and say hello. I promise you I won't bite. I'm just here to just share some love with you and a special message as always. So we're going to just jump right into my message. I've got a lot to cover. Not a lot, but enough to cover. And then we're going to do our weekly reading. So, okay. Hi, Lisa. So, I wanted to just say this, and I'm going to be looking at my notes because I want to make sure that I'm clear in what I'm saying. So, with everything that's going on right now with the coronavirus and what it's doing to us as a nation, as a world, I want you all to hear my heart when I say this. I don't want to keep giving this thing power over me or over you. So I'm not going to keep talking about it. I'm not going to be talking about it on any of my stuff hardly ever. I'm not ignoring it. I'm not saying that it's not real. I'm not acknowledging that it is wreaking havoc all over this world, and it scares the bejesus out of many of us. But we have the news to constantly remind us about what's going on. So since I'm neither a news anchor nor am I a reporter, I'm a healer. I'm a healer. I'm a coach. I'm an empowerment advocate for you. So therefore, I'm not here to report the news. I'm not here to loom large with doom and gloom. I am here to bring you the messages of hope, of inspiration, motivation. Because I truly believe that we are not in this time by accident. So, with that being said, as I stated, this is an episode, this broadcast, we will talk about this pandemic and what I feel that we're being called to do. Excuse me. So that's why I entitled this At This Time. But after today, my focus is on your healing, on you finding your purpose, on your self-care and soul care. Because again, I am a healer, I am a coach, and I am here for that purpose. Okay? So we're going to let the news do what they do. We're going to let all the people who like to keep posting and reposting all the negative stuff, I get it. But we're going to let them do what they do. And we're going to do what we do. All right? So this is a complete combo show. I'm talking about you're getting a 3-in-1. This is a blog post. This is a Sunday school session. Thank you for the hearts. This is a podcast episode. So sit back, relax, and let's just have a little dialogue about this time. And Mignon says, that's right. Yes, my sister, I love you. Okay, so I feel in my heart of hearts that this time is not a thing that is by accident. First of all, I read a few things that have been environmentally interesting. First and foremost, one of the places that I've dreamed about visiting my whole life, and when all of this is over, I'm still going to go there. And that is Venice, Italy. For the first time in many, many years, you can actually see through the water in Venice. Why? Because all the water taxis have been pushed to the side. Ain't nobody taking no water taxis. Nobody's doing anything to disrupt the nature, the flow of Mother Earth, of what she needs to do. So I think that's a big thing, is the earth is telling us, okay, I have told you all over and over again that I need you all to fix this shit. So since you're not going to do it, I'm putting you in timeout, and I'm just going to have to do this my way. I think that God and Mother Nature got together and was like, okay, they're being disobedient. They're not heeding our warnings. We've told them, this is what you need to focus on. This is what you need for the planet to be sustained. This is what we all have to do. So yes, Mignon, Mama has spoken, and so has Papa, and they are mad at us. So therefore, it's now being taken out of our hands, and we're being pushed off to go and do what we're supposed to do, have been doing, right? So that Mother Earth can heal. So I live in Atlanta, and if you've ever been to Atlanta, you know the traffic in Atlanta is no freaking joke. You have traffic on a Sunday in Atlanta. But when I tell you, you can go anywhere in Atlanta right now and get there, boom, just like that. I'm telling you, nobody hardly is on the road. And with the pollen aside, the air is different. You can actually breathe. You can actually breathe. So this is actually doing us a favor. Because even though you have the viruses out there, it's wreaking havoc, it's hurting a lot of people, it's killing people, it's making a lot of people sick. There are people who are getting healed from it. We need to hear that and know that, because that's not a message we're getting enough of. Yes, tragically, people are dying from this, but there are people who are surviving it. They're surviving it. And I really wish someone would talk about that And it might ease the concerns of the masses that, hey, you know what? It's not the end of the world. You just might pull through this. Messages of hope would do a world of good. But since we can't depend on the people who are supposed to be in charge to do that, in walks the healers. Here we are, people like myself, my sister, Mignon. We walk in the door and say, you know what? There's hope. There's hope. Follow me. I know the way. Why? Because I'm allowing God and the ancestors to guide my footsteps, to guide my tongue, to give me direction of what I'm supposed to do right now. So let's talk about the 10 things that you are now being given time to do that you may have been neglecting before. So let's start with number 1. So depending on your profession, now you may be able to finally get the rest that your body has been screaming for a long time, but you just kept pushing. So a lot of us are working from home. And if you don't know, I do have a full-time job that I do work, and I also do my healing work. My intention is by the end of this year to strictly be healer full-time. Hallelujah. I'm calling it in. That's what's going to happen. But I'm working from home now. And a lot of other people are as well. People who weren't working from home before are now working from home. Now, if you've always worked from home, this may not apply to you too much. Maybe you can be the one to teach people how to manage their time wisely while they're at home. So you may now be able to get the rest that you've been needing to get. That your body is like, can you please sit down for 10 minutes, a few minutes? No? Oh, you just gonna keep putting pressure on your feet like that and your back? Right? Yeah? Oh, okay. So you're not gonna hit up Coach Roz for that Reiki session so you can relax and sleep at night? Oh darn. Well, now your body is like, you get to work from home. Woo! We get to rest. So you get to rest. Number 2, you get to do some real spring cleaning and clutter clearing. Facts. Big facts. You've been procrastinating on it. You've been putting it off. You have done a half-ass job at it and everything else. But now you got the time to really go room by room. And you can literally do a room a day. You don't have to try to do it all in one day. Spread it out so you don't overwhelm yourself. But if you get on a roll, get on a roll. Hey, it's all good. But you get to do that real cleaning and decluttering that you've been promising yourself that you were going to do. So now you have the perfect opportunity to clear up some shit that you need to clear. Literally. Number 3, and as a former real estate agent, this part, you get to eat meals at home, save a little money, giving you the opportunity to clean up your eating habits. Okay, yes, I said it. When I was a real estate agent, one of the things that used to frustrate me is people are always saying, well, I don't have the money for a down payment. I don't know where to see. I don't have the ability to save money and all this other stuff. And then I would ask them their habits. How often do you eat out? Do you always buy your lunch or do you pack your lunch? Do you stop for coffee in the morning? What about when you have dinner? Do you have takeout all the time or do you go to restaurants? What do you do? So this is giving you the opportunity now to do a little clean eating, to detox your body. Yeah, that. Now, As a mother of someone who works in hospitality, it hurts my heart that they're not working right now. A lot of them are not. And they have to sit and wait this thing out. But these are some things that they could be doing too. We all have to take a step back right now. We're being forced to do this. So take advantage of it. Yeah. So you get to eat your meals at home. You get to control portions. You get to eat the vegetables that you've been neglecting to eat. You get to use that expensive blender that you bought or somebody got you for Christmas to make your smoothies every day. Now you got the time to do it. You ain't got no excuses. You can do it. But this is something that you are now being challenged to do. You'll save money. Look at how much money will be sitting in your bank account by you not eating out all of the time. By you not stopping at Starbucks every single morning. I raise my hand and I go, yep, me, Starbucks. So, there you go. That's number 3. Number 4. You get to read that book that you bought and it sat on your shelf in your nightstand for months, collecting dust. You read a page here, you read a page there, and you're like, oh, I'm so tired. I can't read this. Well, you got time now. You got time now to give yourself that gift. Or that free ebook that you signed up for. Yeah, you got time to read it and then some now. Yeah, that free ebook that's been sitting in your inbox for an eternity that you ain't thought nothing else about after you entered your information into that person's stuff and now you on their mailing list. Yeah, you got time to read that book. It's time for you to start doing that, to start feeding yourself, to start getting back to what your intention was when you got those things. Your intention was to give yourself the escape to be able to read. And in the reading, you're either educating yourself, entertaining yourself, or both. Without looking at your phone, looking at a computer, without looking at television. We have those things. I personally love to read, and I've pulled out a few books that I'm either going to read for the first time or I'm going to reread because I was too distracted with other stuff to really read it. And by the by, my sister Mignon has 2 books on Kindle that you need to go on and hit up and get, all about manifestation. Please, thank you. Yeah. And they are awesome. Number 5. It is time for you to reignite your spiritual practices. Yeah, we've been neglecting our spiritual practices, haven't we? Yeah, so like prayer, meditation, smudging, journaling, tapping, all those things that we use as tools to keep ourselves grounded in our faith. Because it's not just about, faith, just, reading your Bible. That's part of it. But if you're not doing the prayer, the meditation that goes with it, you're just reading it for what? Entertainment? So I think this is a good time for you to start going within and start really listening to God and the ancestors, your angels, your guides, all of that. We're being called to do this right now. It is vital for us to do this. It really is. So now we have this time to reignite our spiritual practices, to get ourselves grounded and start repurposing our lives. Number 6, take walks or just find creative ways to get active and stay active. Yeah. So when I was coming home from the grocery store, I think it was, I saw So many people outside walking, running, jogging, riding bikes with their children, walking their dogs, doing all these outdoor activities. This family was playing in their front yard. And these are things that people weren't doing a month ago, right? And aside from the fact of, cold, blah, 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 we don't get that cold here in Atlanta. So, yeah. And even still, if it were warm outside, we still wouldn't see all that. But I did. And I thought it was wonderful. So now this is starting you and getting you back to, maybe I just take a walk and get some fresh air in my lungs. And I get to look at nature and pay attention to those things. Number 7, take stock of your life and reevaluate what's really important to you. That's a big one. So now, in this little quarantine time, take stock. Really sit and think about what's really important to me. What do I really want to do? What am I really called to do? Because one thing that I'm noticing is a whole lot of coaches and healers that are popping up with all these advertisements, which is great, and I think it's beautiful. A lot of people have some really good things to offer. But I would just say this. What this time I think is going to do is going to... The people who are anointed will last, and the people who are self-appointed will fall. I'll say that. Because this work is not for the faint at heart. It's not for someone can just wake up one day and say, "Hark, I will be a healer and a coach." No, this is a special healing, a special calling. As I was explaining, I think I was talking to my son, because I was explaining to him about how I felt that he really needed to have a Reiki healing session. And so I was explaining to him, I was like, what I need you to understand is my process of me doing a Reiki healing on you and on anyone else, it's not just for you, it's for me too, because I feel better after giving a Reiki healing session, after reading cards, after coaching someone in a session. It makes me feel better because I too receive a message that gives me healing. So the healer gets healed as they are healing. So this is the time for you to start taking stock of your life and say, okay, is this really what I want to do for the rest of my life? What I'm doing right now, how's this working? Is it working? Or am I just doing it for the sake of doing it? So this is the time for you to start really tapping into your purpose. And then start looking at your finances. Where am I spending too much money that's not serving me? Where am I, am I doing too much of something and not enough of something? What are my savings looking like? What are my, whatever. Just look at your finances. Might be time for you to get a finance coach, because I know I've been looking at a few and I'm like, yeah, I need to go on and pull the trigger and do this and get somebody to help me with this. Just a second. Excuse me. Allergies. It ain't no joke. And then you look at the places that you live. Am I happy with where I'm living right now? Or how I'm living? You might start thinking, well, maybe this is the time that I need to start thinking about relocation. Or maybe I need to think about whatever the situation, as far as where you live, how you live. You can start looking at your social life. Do you have one? Do you want one? So that's something that is important. And then, of course, your health and well-being, your mental health. So you really need to sit down and start taking stock and look at those different categories for your life and say, where am I in these? And, excuse me, am I happy? Or do I need to make some serious changes? Number 8, another thing that this time is giving you to do, breathe. Literally. Because, again, as I stated before, there are less people on the roads. There are fewer airplanes in the air. All these beautiful things of like carbon emissions and all that stuff that's killing us slowly, we get a little break from it. So we can actually go outside and we don't see like smog. Yeah, some places you can look outside and they actually see a clear sky, and they haven't seen a clear sky in a long time. So you get to breathe. Number 9, get back to nature and appreciate the gifts and beauty all around you in nature. So in other words, you get to reconnect with Mother Earth. Yeah, you get to get grounded and reconnect with Mother Earth. If you're somewhere where it's pretty warm outside or moderately warm outside, go outside and put your bare feet on Mother Earth. Feel the earth underneath your feet. It's very, very grounding to do that. Don't step in dog poop or on an anthill, but find a place that's safe for you to put your feet on the earth and let your toes just feel the ground. Let your foot touch and connect with the earth. And just take some deep breaths and just connect with her. And she'll start speaking to you. She'll speak to you. And last but not least, number 10, you'll realize the importance and beauty of community. One thing that has made me so happy with all of this is people coming together to just overcome boredom. Like on Instagram, listen, if you are not on Instagram, you need to get on Instagram. Instagram is a party all by itself right now. You got D Nice that's been spinning records like these past few days. He been taking us down memory lane. I don't know if he really played any new school stuff. Everything has been old school. It's been like disco, go-go, hip-hop, pop, R&B, all these things. Like, I left it just so I can come here and do my live, but I'm going back. And when I left, he was playing Big Daddy Kane, and before that, he was playing Gil Scott-Heron, and I'm like, oh, they don't know nothing about Gil Scott. So it's been beautiful, and Anthony Hamilton did a live concert, and Miguel did a live one, John Legend did something. It's just been phenomenal. And I saw where my husband, well, he's married to somebody else, but my husband, my other husband, Idris Elba, and I pray that he gets better. He's doing lives, and he's actually like doing lives and like letting fans be on the live with him, and they can just kind of like talk and do like a Q&A. It's been really nice that he did that. So all this beautiful sense of community, bringing people together. If only we could do that all the time. But I think this is a beautiful reminder that we are one, and that it's okay for us to all lean on each other, even if it is with social distancing. So those are the 10 things that I feel that are benefits to this quarantine, this time of the virus. Because in all seriousness, I've been sitting and thinking and praying and meditating, and I'm like, okay, so in this time, what's the focus? You know, what is it? Is it the politics? Maybe. Is it healthcare? Absolutely. Um, Income and wealth inequality? Definitely. But above all of that, here are the things, three words, three, that have come to me in the past couple of days regarding what we're dealing with right now. First of all, this one is back to basics. I think a lot of us are being called to go back to basics. To go back to those tried and true things that our grandmamas and great grandmamas and maybe even some of us, our mamas, taught us about wellness, those remedies. My sister Tracy was talking about, how once a week, your grandmama or your great grandmama would give you castor oil to clean you out. And a lot of us grew up with these things that our mamas and grandmamas and big mamas would give us because they wanted us to be regular, to be cleaned out, to get out toxins. Because when you do that, you're cleaning your body out. You're ridding your body of those things that are coming in to do you harm. So we got to go back to those basics, those basic things of eating your vegetables and drinking lots of water and getting lots of rest and making sure you have vitamin C and all those essential things. We got to get back to the basics where we cooked our meals and we didn't eat so much fast food, and we took time out of our day to pray and be in fellowship with each other and had community with one another. So we need to get back to basics. That's first. Second thing that came to mind, simplicity. We've made everything so complicated now. We overcomplicate everything so much that it's making us crazy. We overcomplicate it. We overthink. And now some of us are so overwhelmed that it's making us insane right now to deal with all this. Because the world has us on this constant hamster wheel, but it gets us nowhere. And everything is complicated and complex. Even though they try to make it simple, it's not. They say it's simple and they sell it as simple. We buy it and think that, oh, this is simple. No, it's not. It's complex. It's slowly killing you. It's slowly, hurting you. It's not there for your health and well-being. So we have to slow down and go back to the simple things and get back to basics and simplicity. And the last thing, before we get into our weekly reading, and this is a biggie, we're being called to surrender. Yes, the S word that so many of us are terrified of. Surrender. We have to surrender. A lot of us are getting so worked up about all of this, and I understand, I get it. But we can't, it's not our control. It's not for us to control. It's not. I've said this and I've taught this even before this whole virus thing happened. And I fully believe this wholeheartedly and feel this with everything in my body. God gave us control over very few things, and that was very divine. Because every time we try to put our hands in stuff that God and Earth Mother have told us not to touch, not to bother, leave it alone, we got it. The ancestors are like, no. We got it. Don't touch it. You go off and do what we told you to do. We get in a hurry. We get impatient. We take away the simplicity. We go back to the overthink and overwhelm. And we just mess it up. We mess it up because we want to control it. And the world has us thinking that we have we're in control of everything, but I'm here to tell you no. And you know what? I don't want to be in control of everything. That's too much. That's too much. So you know what? I'd rather give it to God. I'd rather say, you know what? My ancestors, take it. I pray. I give it to you all. Give it to God. And I'll leave it there. I surrender. And I'll just let it flow. Because if I get hold of it, if I start messing with it, it's gonna blow right up. So we have to live in that flow and surrender. So, I got tingles from that. So, last thing, and then we'll be closing out. Let's do our weekly reading. So if you've ever done a reading with me, or you've never done a reading with me for the week, thank you guys for the hearts. And Mignon said exactly, I had to take castor oil, girl. That castor oil. And then she says hashtag surrender. And then she says surrender empowers and aligns you. Yes, it does. It really, really does. So with our reading, I have 6 cards in front of me from my left to my right. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So imagine in your mind's eye, and this is what they look like. These are the Wisdom of the Oracle cards by Colette Baron Reed that I love. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pick the card that's calling out to you, what number. You don't have to share what number it is. You just hold that. But all of these cards are going to tell a story. This is what we need to know for this week. This is for the week. This is telling us this is what our concentration should be on. So the card number 1, that's our anchor card. So that's the one that starts the story, and everything else is going to build from there. Now I'm going to tell you, the way that Spirit had me lay these and shuffle and stuff was different. So I'm very curious to see how this is going to play out. So let's see what card number 1 is. Ooh, truth be told. Truth be told. Now, I've never pulled this card before from this deck. I've had this deck for a while. But what I'm getting from this, and I love it, you see how this mask is here? And then you have an owl on top, and it has like this little picturesque thing. So we hide behind masks, and masks hide the truth. So this is an opportunity this week for the truth to be revealed. Just like how we sat and talked and broke these things down, I think there's a lot of truth that's about to come out for you, for all of us. And we have to be open to receive whatever that truth is. But it will be told. It will be revealed. But you have to be open to receive it. So let's see what card number 2 tells us a little more about that card. Ooh, a lot of cards I haven't pulled before. Well, 2 so far I haven't pulled before. Building blocks. Building blocks. So, with this card, I think there's going to be some building going on. You've got to start with your foundation. The truth is the foundation. And from the truth, you can build on that and start. How do I want to say this? From the truth, you can start building what it is that you feel that you're being called to do at this time. So take the building blocks. You have truth. You have purpose. You have power. You have strength. What are your building blocks? You know how those blocks always, as a kid, they had letters on them or words or something like that, and you build and you can spell something or create something. It's pretty much what this week is going to look like. If card number 2 is your card, you're going to have some blocks and things that are going to come together and that you can build on. Oh, number 3 is the observer. Observer. So I think that one is pretty self-explanatory. If card number 3, I want you to know that you are going to sit back and observe. Don't make moves. This is your time to do research. This is your time to collect information, for you to do some reflection and to basically plan out a little bit more than reaction and action. So this is not an action moment. This is a moment for you to kind of observe, take back a little bit and be like, okay, so I'm not going to react or act. I'm just going to look and I'm going to wait this out. And I'm just going to be observant. I'm going to research it. I'm going to pray on it, whatever else that needs to be done. Card number 4, go the distance. Go the distance. So I'm a person where I feel like if you're going to go, go. If you're going to go big, you're going to go big or go home. But see the end. See it all the way through. So if you're building on the truth, you're taking the time to observe and do your research. But don't stop, because sometimes when we get in that research part of our lives, of our plans, we kind of lose interest, because then we're like, okay, this is so much information. Or, ooh, shiny new things. Let me go see what that is talking about or that person is doing. So go the distance. Finish it. See it through. This is a time for you to see things through. To not just like, well, maybe I might. No. See it through. Go the distance. Take your time. Do your research. But finish. Finish what you started. Go the distance. Come to the edge. Card number 5. Come to the edge. That tells me a leap of faith. When you're standing on the edge and you're looking down, it could possibly scare the crap out of you. And as you're looking, you're like, I don't want to fall. I don't want to fall. I don't want to fall. But you're not going to fall. And even if you fall, you have someone there to pick you up. So come to the edge. Dare to go to the edge. Dare to stand on the edge, flat foot, and say, this is me. This is who I am. This is what I'm doing. This is what I've been called to do. And I am ready for it. I'm ready to go the distance. I've done my research. I've got my building blocks, my tools, and everything that I need. My foundation is on the truth. And here I am. I'm ready. Last card, number 6. If you do all this, you can have peace. From all of this, you can have peace. Because I tell you, when you are walking in your purpose, when you are living on purpose, in purpose, you have peace. You have peace because you're being who you are. You're being who you were called to be. You're not allowing other people to tell you who you are or who you're supposed to be. So your truth is going to be revealed. You got the tools, the building blocks. I think the building blocks, as I'm reading this now, it's not so much of you actually building. It's more about the tools. I think that's what it is. It's more about the tools. That's what's coming through. So you got the building blocks. You're doing the research, but you're not going to stop at the research. You're going to see this through and go the distance. And you're going to dare to dream. You're going to stand at the edge and you're going to have faith that what you are called to do is for you, and it's just for you. And this time of quarantine is giving you the opportunity to tap into it like never before. Like never before. And when you start to do these things, you will have peace because you're walking in alignment with who you are and what you're called to do. And you don't have to go anywhere and pretend to be something that you're not, because it's the truth. You're in your truth. You're living your truth, and your foundation is your truth of who you are. So everybody, let's take a deep breath in and exhale out. One more deep breath in and exhale out. Ashe, my sister. Thank you all so much for joining me. I really appreciate you being here with me tonight for starting over Sunday school. And I encourage you to share this. I encourage you to stick with me, because since now that I'm going to have all this time on my hands, you're going to see a lot of me. So stay tuned. And Mignon says, such good insight. Thank you so much. I was taking notes. Thank you, sister. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, you all. I love you, love you, love you. Nothing you could do about that. I will talk to you all soon. I'm thinking tomorrow morning I might do something for you. We'll see. All right, y'all. Bye for now.